Okay. So... Okay. So, as of now, the latest version of Drylands that I've uploaded is A10A. This is A10A. In A11, I have, like, a little test version where, this spawn room is kind of more in the style of Gravel Pit, so, especially, like, offensively, some of the strats on this point are gonna be a little bit different, but, we'll get to that. I'll go over defense first, and then I'll do a second, run through the map on offense. And we'll start with point A. So, if you have... The thing with point A, well, the thing with defense in general is that we're not sure, me and the people that I've been kind of looking at the map with, we're not sure what the actual class lineup could be, because hypothetically, you could maybe run a heavy red side, and he would be okay. But then obviously you lose the ability to retreat that, like, having a scout would give you. But for first point, it's a bit of a throwaway point, so you'd probably leave relatively early anyway. For the most part, you'd want to run cookie cutter sixes lineup. I mean, you have like a soldier. You have your roamer play up on this roof, and he can kind of deny people coming out of spawn a bit, and it's not difficult for him to get out if he needs to, because he's got this room right here. He can just fall off the roof, and there's health and ammo here. He can fall back a bit. You know, there's a lot of options there if you're playing soldier on this roof. You would probably have your roaming scout hold this side because it's relatively easy. You have good vision of the cart, and again, there's just a lot of options getting out. You know, you can go this way, you can go this way. You can get up onto this roof. You know, there's a lot you can do. If they stop pushing the cart, you can stop it from there, but you don't have to, like, overly commit to anything. So this is, like, a good spot for, like, a scout to play safely. Your pocket scout, if you're running a pocket scout, would probably hold this roof, just to deny, like, bombers. If the scout there retreats or goes down, what they would probably do, I think, is use that opportunity just to, like, aggress on you a bit more and try and push you off the roof, try and get your med, so you can kind of deny any soldiers bombing from, like, here-ish. You gather info, you can kind of call from a safe distance. Generally, this is just a nice place to be for scout, because, you know, you're relatively safe because you're close to an exit, you're close to, like, somewhere where everyone else is, and you can deny any bombing soldiers, but then you have to also be wary if they run a sniper out of spawn, which is relatively easy to do on this point, just because of the proximity of the spawner. It might be... Oops. Oh my god. It might be that you get headshot really quickly if you're not careful. So, but in the next version, if it goes down well, I have a version where the spawn functions like Gravel Pit, and you have to go all the way back inside to change class and, like, heal and stuff. So that might just be removed. In the newer version, we'll see. You probably have your demo play here, and then he has good sight of things. He can spam stickies everywhere. He's relatively far away. He can watch this entrance in case anybody tries to go around. And, you know, if he starts getting pressured, he can just do this. Your med, again, plays close to your demo, kind of just sits back a bit. You want to make sure, probably, that you can get this health kit pretty easily, because if a soldier, like, jumps onto you and doesn't, like, necessarily get the kill, but, like, maybe gets a bit of damage on you, or they start, like, aggressing on you, and you're, like, low health, this isn't that far away, and it's relatively safe. It's relatively out of the way, assuming that there's nobody kind of up on this roof. So you kind of want to play back a bit. Again, you have the option to leave out this door as a med. You can go through here, but you probably more so would want to go through here. And your roamer, or not your roamer, your pocket soldier would probably play down here as well and just protect you. I'm not sure who you would actually replace with a heavy. It would probably either be the pocket scout or the pocket soldier, but I would say probably more the pocket soldier, because, like, if you have like a heavy, he can kind of stand behind this rock, peek a little bit, or he can stand over here. He can deny bombing soldiers relatively easily. He can deny people kind of coming in through this flank. But altogether, this point is relatively easy to hold, so it might be that you don't run a heavy just because you're very likely to, like, forfeit the point soon. I'm not sure. So your heavy can retreat quite easily. When you're retreating, what you'd wanna do is probably get like your explosive classes here, because if you're retreating and they kind of call it, it might be that they have someone jump from over here down this hallway, and then they get like the jump on you. So you really want to be having like a soldier or a demo here, and then they can kind of just like deny that. You want to be feeding in your med probably last, because it'll be a bit easier to take the fight if the med is here and he can't be shot at. But then also you probably have to keep an eye around you. This could be an okay point for an immediate spy play, just because this room is quite open. You can go in here, you can wrap around. It's a bit of a distance, but it's somewhat easy to do. So, and because, again, the spawn room's so close, you could get a pick and then just go back to spawn and change class. So you also have to be wary of, like, this bit to the side. You maybe want to have, like, your pocket soldier or heavy or whatever. Just keep an eye on that. On this area here as well, just to make sure that there's nobody going around, if nobody gets called. But for the most part, you just want to be, like, you want to get out of the point if you lose, like, two guys even. If you lose, like, a scout and if you lose, like, a scout and a soldier, I think generally it's a good idea to just get out of here, because this is a really easy point to lose a lot of people on, and then they gain momentum, and they push into second. And then it's really difficult to defend second if they do that. Going into second, most of the team is going to be going through the lobby here. You'd want to position a scout and a soldier, probably, like a roaming scout, roaming soldier, onto this roof, because you can kind of deny this entrance, you can deny this entrance, you can deny this entrance with your soldier, just because they're kind of tight doorways. Your scout can kind of stop people from going on this, like, platform and aggressing on the soldier, but then also you just have to worry about, like, if there's a demo here, you're going to want to take care of him, because he's going to be able to spam onto the roof relatively easily. If everybody's pushing through here, it shouldn't be too difficult, but you still want to be wary of that. And it's just overall really important that you hold this roof, because if they take this, it's going to be relatively easy for them to just feed in and push the cart through the cave. If you forfeit it, again, it's not even really worth holding the point. So if you have the roof, it's quite a strong hold, especially if, like, you have your demo on this wood platform here. He can kind of spam at this doorway. He can spam at this doorway. If the cart goes into cave and there's somebody running in and it gets called, the demo can pretty easily just spam at whoever's in cave and then just walk towards the cart. You might position your pocket scout here as well, just because of the relative ease it is to get to the cart. If someone pushes it in, you can just run over and tap it and push it back. Or it might be that you sit your pocket soldier here, just because this part is also relatively easy to hold, and it's probably safer for a scout to do it, just because of the ease. He can like go around and stop the cart and just run back behind the cover here. But I'm not too sure about the positioning. It's something that I would have to think about, or like see in a game or whatever. You have your med play here, and then he can distribute heals to the demo, and the pockets in these areas holding. And then obviously the most important thing is just that you stop them from taking roof. So you would probably want to have your demo put most of his focus over here. Have your soldier watch this side as well when he can. And just make sure that when they tap the cart into cave, that you're not forfeiting that hold on roof just to stop it. If you're capable of doing it, you probably would want to hold lobby a bit more, because you can probably force them quite early in here. If you have like your soldier kind of hereish, it's relatively easy for him to get out onto roof, and he can maybe get a few cheeky shots on the med, especially if the med has. Yeah, I mean, again, just don't forfeit roof. Don't forfeit like the stronghold around roof, just to be able to stop the cart from going into cave, because it's going to ruin everything. One thing you have to be wary of on defense probably is this drop down here, because if somebody goes into cave and doesn't get called, If you have like a soldier going into cave that doesn't get called, and he manages to get around to the drop down, and go around, he's going to be able to get a kill on the med quite easily, just because the med's going to be like kind of paying attention all the way over here and here, and not really watching this doorway behind him. So for the med, it's probably quite important that you listen out just for this doorway to open, because it is fairly audible if you're paying attention. And make sure that you're calling people going into cave. If you have a spy go in there as well, the spy relatively easily can kind of, assuming that it's not getting spammed out, the spy can like go in through here, like kind of into cave from the side, and then all the way around. It's quite a long play, but if you manage to get a med pick off of it, it is probably worth it. So again, just keep an eye out behind you, because there's a few avenues that you can go in through if you're not paying enough attention. On third, I'm not sure if it would be that you have like a super stronghold on it, or if you leave it early. This storeroom area looking here is like the most important part of it. I just call it storeroom because it's similar to Saw on Snakewater. If blue has this, they can bomb onto your med relatively easily. Like, say your med is playing here, which he probably should be, just to get heals out across this general area. If nobody is stopping them, they can quite easily, like, buff a soldier, and then this soldier just bombs onto the med. So you probably have, like, your med play here. Maybe you'd have your scout play a bit forwards. I'm not too sure about that. Have a pocket scout kind of play here-ish just to prevent people from going in through, stopping, like, bombs and stuff. Have your pocket soldier kind of play on this train. Again, just deny people over here with splash damage. You can also watch the connector here. You can see people kind of going in through drop down to push the cart. Possibly have your roamer up here, because your roamer could kind of rotate on this catwalk between watching Saw and like watching the connector and watching cave. And obviously it's relatively easy to force a soldier off of here just because of how tight it is. But if your roamer gets forced over there, he can kind of just stand on these crates, or he can kind of like go from here onto this shed and just deny connector a bit more closely without having as much control over Saw. And he can kind of keep an eye on the exit through cave. You would probably want to have one of your demos play like kind of here-ish. You know, he can deny cave from quite a distance to make it like relatively difficult for someone to just nudge the cart through. He can deny Saw a bit. He has a bit of sight on connector. You know, demo from here isn't as effective as he is on other points, but I think he can still do like a certain amount of things to make it just a bit easier to hold. And then probably have your roaming scout kind of play towards the exit through cave, because if anybody's using like the combat over here to just take an opportunity to push the cart, your roaming scout can kind of take the fight here, just get rid of anybody down here, and just stop the cart from moving. So the most important thing, obviously, is keeping your med alive here, because if you get overwhelmed on Saw, what they're going to be able to do is just, like, jump through here and then wrap around onto you and just get you in kind of a pincer position, and then you could, they feed their scout in through here, and they have, like, kind of their combo play over here and take the scout. So it would be, if you lost this Saw area here, relatively easy to, like, kind of wipe on this point, but it does also take a while for the cart to cap, so they wouldn't actually get their forward spawn until they do. And it is relatively easy to spawn camp at this point, but if everybody pushed out of one exit, if they kind of rolled through to here, you could kind of kill them immediately. So it's I'm torn on whether this would be like a super stronghold or whether it would be that you flee kind of early if they get like a couple kills. I'm not sure. We'll see. Holding last. One of my friends brought up to me an interesting strategy, would be that you could possibly... I'm going to switch to red. You could possibly run a Gunslinger Engineer on last. You put, like, your dispenser here. You have your mini here, just to deny people in here a little bit, get a bit of damage on them, before they use it with us, so they kind of have to use a bit earlier. And then you have your Angie kind of play in here and just deny people coming in this way like a scout, because then you essentially have a second kind of weak medic that also gives ammo, and you have a 7th player, basically, that has like not much health but can get a bit of damage on people. And obviously the cost to this is that your Angie's a bit weaker and a bit slower. But holding this room, just because you have the high ground here, it's probably a bit easier for your Angie to just kind of sit in here and deny people. You might also run a heavy on this loss, potentially, just to hold this room, just over a pocket soldier. But I think your pocket soldier also could relatively easy just shoot at people in this doorway. Your demo would probably want to be playing the right side as well, just because, again, it's relatively easy to deny this. You'd probably have your roaming soldier in here as well, just denying people kind of trying to take this room. Your med kind of plays back here. Your demo can kind of play here, and then if he needs to, he can look over this way and kind of spam at this doorway. But the main thing is just that you'd want to be denying this room to stop them from Ubering in through there and killing everyone. You'd want to have probably one of your scouts probably would want to sit here and just make sure that if people are pushing the cart through this way, just nudging it in, the scout can take that fight and also stop them. But it's also relatively easy to die if you're standing here, just because there's a few places a sniper can kind of shoot onto you. It's a bit of a tight area. If you have like a soldier here, like he's going to be able to get a scout quite easily here. And the distance is kind of, it's just enough that if someone is standing here, a scout's just not going to be very effective, especially if it's a soldier or something. So what you might do is have like your soldier from here just kind of every now and then just peek this side and just see what he can do to get people out of there. If you get forced out of this room, like your soldier and your NG, your soldier can take this roof, which is pretty important, I think. He has cover here. If there's people going in this way, he can kind of deny them a bit. He can deny jumpers a little bit. If a scout's up here, you know, he can deny jumpers as well. Just holding this roof is probably an important spot to be on, just because it's kind of, it's like a last resort for this left side, so to make sure that they don't like take all of it, because if they have this doorway, they can quite easily, they can send in a sniper through here, they can snipe at people, they can send in a roamer through here just to bomb onto the med. You know, there's a few options they have from there, just to distract from this right side while they Uber in and kind of whittle people down. So, yeah, I think that about covers red side. So I'll be going over blue side next. I'll probably mention bits from defending red side when I go over blue side, so if there's anything I say that's kind of like confusing about that, you can kind of just go back to this bit and like see what I'm talking about. But yeah. Okay, here we go. So this is the offense part of the map review. I'm probably, some of the things that I mention here are probably going to be changed, which is, I think, especially relevant for offense, just because a lot of the changes are kind of to make offense a bit more difficult. Just because at the moment, I still feel like it's a bit easy to play offense on this map, but I'm just going to go through it. Okay, playing first. So the most important thing that you do first of all is get rid of their soldier up here. So that'll probably be, because their soldier is going to be able to deny this bit, he's going to be able to deny this bit, he's going to be able to deny this bit. It's going to be pretty easy for him to get some damage on people and make them, especially feel med, to make them use, and then to stop people from pushing the cart here. So really what you want to do, I guess, is you can potentially just have a sniper, like, peek out of spawn, maybe like here. And because all of this is kind of a spawn zone, if you take any damage at all, or like you're about to die, you can literally just hit like your class bind, do your loadout bind, and you just go back to spawn, and you can just peek again. In the newest version of the map that I'm working on, that I haven't released yet, this area here isn't something you can respawn in. Effectively, this room here is the only bit that you can actually respawn in. But for the time being, that seems like it would be an effective strategy to me. You really want to have your combo playing this side, because if your demo is here, he can kind of spam towards them a bit. Your soldier has, like, immediate access to this roof, he can jump onto it, and, like, spam down at people. And generally, this is just a good place to Uber from, because you have access here, you have access to here, you have access to this. It's the quickest way to get onto them. So this is quite a good side to have for your combo. Your pocket scout or your roaming scout and your roaming soldier are going to want to be playing around this cart. They want to take out this soldier, they want to take out the scout here, and then you can kind of just get a bit of progress on the cart. Once you've kind of got rid of them, you can kind of collapse. You can try getting onto this roof. You want to get rid of the scout up here, and especially for your soldier, just because it's relatively easy. So if I'm like standing here, it's relatively easy for me to just do a jump onto that med. So you want to get rid of the scout up here so that he can't stop you at all, because when you do this jump, you're getting really, really close to the scout, which is going to make it pretty easy for him to get rid of you. So you want to knock the scout off here or kill him or whatever, and then you can you have the room to jump onto the med. And they're going to start fleeing pretty quickly, so I'd imagine, like, once this scout goes down, or, like, once the scout here goes down, they're probably just gonna, like, leave the point. But if they're a bit too overconfident, you can just do that to make sure that they don't get out. You can use this room to kind of wrap around them because it's so close. You can jump in here and try and stop them. But then also just keep in mind that it's gonna be, like, 3 people fleeing this way, because you're gonna have, like, their med, their pocket heavy or their pocket soldier, and their demo. So if you're over there and you try and, like, go in this way, they're all gonna immediately see you, and you're probably gonna have to fall back a bit. And if they've already taken this room, you're gonna have to be playing with your med. Because you're gonna want to go in this way with an explosive class. You're gonna have to have your med sit over here, so that he's, like, kind of out of sight for them, and then you can kind of take the fight against anybody standing on this, like, upper little bit of the entrance. You don't, I think, really want to be using Uber on this point, because you want to keep that momentum going into second, because obviously it's relatively easy to chase them out of this point. They might be a little bit, wary of using Uber, they might not want to do it. So, yeah, it might be the case that you just kind of get them out of here. Going into second, you want to be using a bit of that momentum, but they're going to try and stop it as much as they can. Take this lobby as soon as possible, because this is an important place to hold. You have a lot of options from here. You know, you can bomb onto the roof from here. You can bomb onto the roof from here. You can kind of spam at their roof a bit with your demo. You know, through here. It's going to split their attention a bit, and you can keep this side open. Again, your demo can go here and spam onto the roof, but he can also kind of just play here and just keep an eye on it. You want to really just have your combo over here. Keep in mind that they might sometimes have, like, the soldier go here just for a cheeky pick on the med, just to get them to force, just because that's something that's doable if you don't keep an eye on them. If this area is clear, what might end up happening is they could send someone to wrap around on you and get a kill on you. So again, just keep an eye on that. If you've got nobody standing here to kind of call them going in, then you really just want to be wary of that. So your med's probably going to want to be playing back a bit, maybe in this doorway, kind of, if there's people standing, like, lower here. If not, just have your med kind of stand lower here, and then just have, like, your demo and your soldier kind of getting heals, standing like, here and here. Just to put, like, a safe distance between you and people that are going to hurt you. You might want to send a scout in through here, because he can kind of take the fight with the pocket class here. If the cart is, like, here-ish, he can kind of nudge it in, and it'll go all the way through. He can kind of just create a bit of a distraction. If you get the kill here, you can kind of your scout can kind of progress a little bit forwards, try and distract them up here a bit, just to make that demo, who should be standing here, slightly less able to spam. You can kind of whittle it down a bit, so then their pocket soldier or their pocket heavy is going to have to sit here, kind of pay attention to this side as well. You also kind of have a bit easier access to the med. You can kind of immediately kill them. It'll make things a lot easier if you can take this side from them without getting killed. You can also kind of nudge the cart. You can potentially have your demo or your soldier bomb out of this doorway, like your roaming soldier, just to take this. And really the most important thing about this mid is actually just taking this roof, because they can deny so much from here. They can deny this entrance, they can deny all three of these entrances, and they can deny people, like, jumping over the roof onto the demo or onto the med. This is just quite a powerful spot for them to hold, and they'll probably end up giving you a bit of ground if you get a kill on them up there. So it's important that you get that. Going out of second, you really want to be using your momentum to just kind of get in on people. Obviously, the most important area to play is, like, here. Your connector for your flank is going to be quite good, because this is kind of like a bit of a less watched area. There's less you can do from here, but that can kind of go in their favor, since it's not going to be as important of an area to watch. Your combo, you really want to be sending through Saw. This area, Saw, because it's kind of like Saw on Snakewater. You really want to stick, like, your med will kind of play behind this doorway. You're going to have, like, your demo over here, just spamming towards them. If you get enough space, like, if you kill their pocket scout and their pocket soldier, you kind of, or, like, if you force them retreat, you can buff your soldier, and then he can bomb onto the med, and it's not that far of a distance. But the med will also probably play back if you force them back. But this is kind of just a good avenue to walk into the point, so you can kind of just play this train if you get them forced back. And you can kind of, you know, if you go in through here, you have a lot of options. You can take this roof. So, like, you kind of have the high ground on their scout that's going to be defending here. You can kind of see the demo. It's a good place to gather info. If your soldier's up here, he can jump up to this balcony, and then you have, like, a bit of extra high ground to spam at people from. Your scout goes in this way. He can attempt to get a kill on the soldier here if his attention is set on Saw. But that really just depends on if you get called over here, because there's a good chance that their roamers, their pocket soldiers, just gonna keep an eye on Connector as well. So he might end up calling you. Your scout, he can kind of go out here, and they're not so much going to expect you going out from here. You can kind of take the fight with their scout here, to kind of clear up this area, especially if the payload is, like, here, and it's, like, it's still moving. You can kind of just preemptively clear out that area, and just have it go up the hill. You can have, but really most of it just revolves around this Saw area here for your combo. Your scout is going to be able to, your pocket scout's going to be able to deny any bombs that they might make, especially their roaming soldier off of here. He can quite easily kind of, he can jump onto that light, or he can kind of just bomb directly onto your med and get past everyone. So you wanna really be having your scout alive so he can deny that. Because even, like, a kill on, because this is such a tight space, even, like, a kill on a soldier or a demo is going to be quite a big thing for the red side. So just be wary of that. In terms of actually playing the point, just keep control over train. That's going to be the most important part, because you have obviously a pretty big advantage. The soldier can't, like, mess with you. There's someone up on this shack. They might be able to mess with you a bit, so you might have to take that, and then you'll probably just be even closer to last, and you'll have, like, a little bit more space. But train is generally a nice place to be, because you're not going to be getting spammed as much as if you're over there. You're not going to get forced stuff as much as you would be there, and you're not on the floor. Generally, you don't have to worry about this area here. because there's not really going to be much play around it. Because the best exit is here. Most that will probably happen is that they might send in like a scout this way to maybe get a flank if you're on train and nobody's kind of watching that side. But it's quite easy to see the scout there. So, but yeah, I think that about covers third. So, pushing into last, there's an interesting strategy, again, that the people I've talked to have brought up, that you could run potentially an engineer and a heavy, and you put like a teleporter here, and then you, because playing this left side is so important, and you want to be Ubering through this way, and it's not like that much of a distance to walk, you can Uber in the heavy, and then from here he can do a lot. And your demo kind of goes in with him. You probably replace like your pocket soldier with a heavy, and like your roaming scout with an Engie. So you have your heavy go in this way and shoot people, or you could just potentially have a soldier, and then you don't have to necessarily run Engie. You can kind of get that extra firepower and like offense that Scout has. But either one of them, you can send them in through here, and they have a lot of opportunity here to stop people, and they can kind of initiate a spawn camp a little bit. You want to have your roaming scout or your engineer with the gunslinger. You're gonna want him to have his sentry like kind of here-ish, probably, just to pester their scout. It'll probably go down quite fast, but it's gonna make it a little bit more difficult for him to occupy. So especially if the scout here is dead, but there's like nobody else. Put a mini sentry here and start like nudging the cart in, because it's going to be more difficult to deny that. You're going to want to have your roaming soldier and your Engie probably play this room. Take their soldier and their Engie. See if you can push them out. If their roaming soldier gets pushed out, he's probably going to take this roof and try and spam at this doorway. So you wanna be sure that you can take the roof from that point as well, or you can kind of like get rid of him or like pester him a bit. Having this doorway enables you to do a lot. Like if I'm like a soldier, I can quite easily just bomb over here if they don't call me, and if I don't get stopped. If you run a sniper, your sniper can get a good shot on someone from here. You know, there's a lot you can do from here that just makes it so that pushing through here is slightly easier. Down here, you're probably going to want to have your pocket scout just kind of messing with the cart, just hogging it. See if they can take the fight with the scout here. If they get the scout, they can kind of go around and collapse in on the soldier here. And just kind of do a pincer attack with the people playing the flank. And you can kind of just nudge the cart in from here. So yeah, I think that about covers offense. So if you have any like comments about this, any suggestions as to like how you would play this, because this is just my understanding of how a competitive team would play this, then please like do tell me. If there's any improvements that you think should be made from this video, again, please tell me. I don't want to. I'm still worried that it might be too easy for offense to play this map, just because of the amount of options they have. And previously the map was in a state where it was like horrible for defense, so obviously a lot of the updates are going towards kind of working that out. But yeah, I mean, if you have any comments either on the strategies or like on the map, then please do give them to me, because I would like to make this something great. But yeah, thank you for watching.